Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And first of all, today we want to thank you guys for helping us get to 100,000 subscribers. We really appreciate it. Marco and I, the co-founder of Dreamerspro, we're super excited, very humble, and we look forward to continuing this journey with you guys. So thank you very much. Anyway, let me get into the content here. Now, as y'all know, Kyrie Irving has made his return to the court, and first of all, let me say why we're still producing shows about this for two reasons. Number one, I'm waiting to see if this thing will come to a definitive resolution. We thought it had gotten to that point, but then when he came back, reporters started asking him some various questions that didn't seem right with me. Then yesterday, I believe Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics was questioned on, I think he posted something in support of Kyrie Irving, and then they try to take him through a series of questions. What did you mean by this? What did you mean by that? And it seemed like, okay, so this thing is not over as of yet. Now, Stephen A. Smith has been one of these people that seems to be talking out of both sides of his mouth. One minute he's saying this thing about Kyrie, the next he's in opposition to Kyrie. The other thing, you know, he's for Kyrie. And let me just quickly say this about Kyrie, maybe for some people that have been here for quite some time. Some people may be like, but wait a minute. You've been critical about Kyrie Irving in the past. Yes, I have, right? With certain things that I didn't agree with. However, this particular case, the reason I'm coming to his defense is because I believe that this particular issue seems to be bigger than basketball. And as a matter of fact, it is. When you have people like Joe Rogan and CNN and all of these other platforms discussing Kyrie Irving, you know that this goes beyond sports at this particular moment. And I feel like this particular issue is something I need to side with him on, because it's very important that, you know, you pick a side and you understand where you stand, right? So that's the reason I'm supporting him. I'm not going back in the past about some other thing. This is a very specific issue that I want to support him for. So I believe it was Kyrie Irving made his return. And they asked, Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst, who were conducting a segment together on ESPN First Take, to give their kind of their predictions in terms of, do they think that Kyrie Irving is going to be a distraction heading into the future? And I didn't even like the wording of that question, but whatever. So when it was Brian Windhorst said his piece, and when it was time for Stephen A. Smith to give his take on the situation, he said something that just really left me shaking my head. So for those of you who missed what he had to say about Kyrie in that moment, we want to play it for you now, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
There's no way in hell Kyrie Irving won't be a distraction. Can't help himself. But the reality is, or the question is, what kind of distraction will he be? Will he be the kind of distraction? If you're a distraction and making headlines, but you're showing up on the court and balling, that's easy to stomach. The problem with the distractions that Kyrie Irving has caused, it's always led to him missing games. That's the key. Somehow, some way. I was joking around about this, Wendy, when he got himself suspended, because even though I understood the suspension, I definitely spoke out about these conditions that he had to meet and all of this other stuff. I felt they were trying to emasculate him, whoever they may be. And I did not appreciate that at all, because I didn't feel he deserved that. I don't give a damn what anybody says. He deserved to be back playing basketball and working for a living. But I did joke that, once again, he's found a way to miss work, because that's what he does every single season. In his 11 years in his career, he's only played over 60 games 4 times. The other 7 years, he's played 60 or less games in his career. It's just what he does. Having said all of that, I will tell you this. He could still be a positive distraction. He hasn't been the last 2 games he's played. You could tell everything was getting to him when they played against Chicago. His last game, they lost by 9. He shot, 2 or 12 from the field. Couldn't hit anything. He comes back after this 8-game absence. He goes up against Memphis, only hits 5 or 12 shots. That's not Kyrie Irving. Finishes with 14 points. We know he's far more electrifying than that. What I'm proud of is Jacques Vaughn's got these boys playing some defense. Jacques Vaughn is doing a hell of a job thus far. We have to give credit where credit is due. We'll see as the season progresses, you know, how things change or how effective he's going to be. But, you know, throughout the 153 points they surrendered to Sacramento, I'm very pleased with what I've seen from Jacques Vaughn and what he's been doing as a coach. KD is KD. And Ben Simmons, I think, is going to go a long way. If he can get through tomorrow night, where he plays reasonably well, and that vitriol and that venom that inevitably is coming to his way tomorrow in Philly. I'm talking about from the time he rolls up in the town, they're going to know where the team hotel is. They're going to know where the team bus is. You're going to see people outside the hotel heckling him all the way to his arrival at the arena, to him coming on the pregame court to work out, to him showing up in the game. When he leave the game, they're going to be heckling him then. They're going to go after him in ways he's never experienced, but in the end, it's going to be okay if he can get through that.
You know, now I understand why Stephen A. Smith has this kind of inclination to want to go into politics. I really understand that. He is the master of never really taking a position on anything, right? That's what I've noticed about Steve. He's a master of trying to please people and please like everyone. And as a result, ends up disappointing everyone. Because at the end, you never really know where he stands. One day, he'll say this thing, and it'll seem like, okay, he's on this particular group side. Then at the very next moment, he'll turn around, he'll say something else that would have the first group that was supporting him say, man, what the hell are you saying? And then all of a sudden, he's supporting the next group. And then it just continues on and on and on and on. Here's the thing that I'm beginning to understand about Stephen A. Smith and why so many people are skeptical of him. And now I'm understanding it. Stephen A. Smith doesn't really seem to understand time and place. He doesn't really get that. This moment right now in time is not the place or the time and the place for comments like this. It's just not the time. Feel which direction the wind is blowing. You should be able to take a temperature of how things are playing out right now. And he doesn't really seem to understand that. You're up there answering questions that nobody asked you. You're elaborating into things that no one asked you to do. So, and I think the reason Stephen A. Smith finds himself doing that continuously is because he's trying to appease all sides. And you can't do that. People will respect you more when they know where you stand, even if they disagree with you. What they don't like is a person that opinions changes as the wind blows. And that's the thing I'm beginning to understand about why people seem to always take Stephen A. Smith's comments with a grain of salt. We've done videos where we said, Stephen A. Smith said this in support of Kyrie, and a lot of people, we go through the comments and they're like, I don't trust him. Yeah, I don't trust him. He has a track record of doing X, Y, and Z, right? And it's like, now I'm beginning to understand this. It's like, bro, are you on planet Earth? Do you know what's been happening? Do you know the conversations that are being had out there? Like, where do you live that you will come out now and say something like that? Who asked you to say all of that? It's like when Charles Barkley recently went, and Charles Barkley was somebody that I really liked, but some of the stuff he's been saying, I totally disagree with him, period. He recently went on CNN. First of all, I don't know why he went on CNN, but anyway, maybe to promote it. So I thought he would go. Usually when you go on these places, you go to promote something or talk about something. But anyway, he went on CNN. And of course, they questioned him about the Kyrie incident or situation, rather, or drama, whatever you want to call it. And then he gave his opinions on that. And then, like, out of nowhere, he just jumped into another statement where he goes, and us as blacks, we've really been really hard on this particular community and we got to stop all of the hate. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Who asked you to go up there and say all of that? No one asked you. No one asked you. But in that moment, Charles Barkley is trying to appease another audience. And to me, if I'm being honest with you, based on some of the things that I'm seeing, I think that some of these cats find it difficult to stand up for people that look like them, that come from the same community that they come from. I feel like they have a hard time doing that consistently. I've noticed that. It's like, They're always like, if you throw out one compliment, you got to throw out an insult. It's like, well, I think this, but let me just tell you this, so to make sure that you understand. I get that too much. I get that too much. And a lot of that seems cowardly to me. If you're afraid to, defend, people that look like your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, this is for anybody. As I said, something is really wrong with you. Something is really wrong with you. You look at the situation with Kyrie, what you're seeing is you're seeing a community standing together to defend themselves, right? And I think any self-respecting community in the world would do that. Mexicans are going to support Mexicans. Italians are going to support Italians. French are going to support French. But for some case, for whatever reason, you have some of these people that find it difficult to do that, and I don't know why. And the part that really surprises me is that you've made all this money. Like, bro, I think his contract was $1 million a year. You that afraid? What you been doing all your money? Getting haircuts? What you been doing? You that afraid? You not been investing? You not been doing nothing? Like, you still afraid? 20, 30 million, 40 million in? You still afraid? 50, 60, 100, some cats, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, $1 billion in, and you still afraid? What you be doing with your money? Oh man, I can't say, cut it off. Anyway, I get it now. And it's like, bro, like, come on, man. Stand up, say something. Like, come on. Like, what's wrong? Like, come on. It's my thoughts and opinions. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.